Hey there, I'm Joey, and I'm back again with another marvelous video. Star Sapphire Origins Explored. A character that has captivated the minds of comic fans for decades, Star Sapphire is a title held by many characters. Geoff Johns' creation represented love on the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. The violet-colored lanterns were primarily women. Still, the creator Geoff Johns has gone on record saying that anyone can join, but most men prove to be unworthy. So, join us as we delve into the history of Star Sapphire, exploring her origins and evolution throughout the years. We will examine the different versions of the character from her earliest appearances to her modern-day interpretations. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Star Sapphire from Golden Age. The Golden Age of comics. The era when comic books achieved popularity and witnessed the birth of many characters, such as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman from DC Comics, along with Captain America and Captain Marvel from Marvel Comics. Star Sapphire made her appearance during this booming age of comic books. The Golden Age Star Sapphire made her first appearance in the All-Flash Comics number 32, in which she had a fierce battle with the Golden Age Flash, also known as Jason Peter, J. Garrick, who was the first character to hold the mantle of the fastest man in the world. Our speedy hero thwarted her devious plan of destroying the planet Earth. She wanted to deprive the world of oxygen by eliminating all the chlorophyll present in plants, thus killing off all vegetation on the planet. Star Sapphire was introduced as a queen from the 7th dimension, but the Star Sapphire was traditionally heralded as the queen of an ancient race of aliens known as the Zemurons. This lapse in continuity was rectified by the information that was released later. The information gave her a link to the Star Sapphires of Zamora. She was indeed a queen of the Zemurons, but her actions deemed her unworthy, which led to her banishment to the 7th dimension. A master of manipulation, the Star Sapphire was seen trying to influence Ferris to destroy the Zemurons using a Star Sapphire stone. Thankfully, our red and yellow lightning-themed heroes put a stop to the schemes of the Star Sapphire. It disappointed comic book fans as it marked the end of the only appearance that Star Sapphire had during the Golden Age. Ferris, the second Star Sapphire. Following the Golden Age of comic books came the arrival of the Silver Age of comic books, in which many advancements were made in the fields of art and commercial success of comic books. The love interest of the Silver Age Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Caroline Carol Ferris, was the only daughter of the wealthy and influential Carl Ferris and his wife Christine. After her father's decision to retire and travel the world, Carol Ferris was left with a vast aerospace empire. After assuming her role as Ferris Aircraft Company's president, she hired a cocky test pilot called Hal Jordan. As Hal was an employee of her company, Carol Ferris thought it was inappropriate to pursue a romantic relationship with him despite her attraction toward him. Carol Ferris was also romantically interested in the willpower-wielding Emerald hero, Green Lantern, whose secret identity as Hal Jordan remained unknown to her. Carol Ferris made her first appearance in Showcase issue number 22, the comic that gave us the origin of Hal Jordan, the Silver Age Green Lantern. We saw how the ring of Green Lantern Abin Sur chose the fearless test pilot Hal Jordan, and how the newly christened Green Lantern discovered his powers, prevented crimes, and realized he was weak against the color yellow. Yep, it still sounds weird without the explanation that parallax was the reason for this weakness. So getting back to Carol Ferris, how did she fit into all this? In her first comic book appearance, Carol Ferris was left with her father's company, which made her unable to pursue her romantic interest with Hal Jordan. Still, she was seen pursuing the Green Lantern instead. The reader sure got a good laugh seeing her fall in love with the same person without realizing it. Running an aerospace company made Carol Ferris a capable administrator and pilot. Her abilities were granted by the Star Sapphire, which served as an energy conduit, which meant it could channel energy from various sources. This energy could be used to power the abilities that the gemstone granted to its wearer, such as flight, energy blasts, and energy constructs. The gemstone could also duplicate rings, which meant it could create additional copies of the rings its wearer already possessed. Force fields that could protect its wearer from harm could be easily generated. These force fields were created using the energy that the gemstone channeled, and they could be used to deflect physical attacks or protect the wearer from energy-based attacks. As the Star Sapphire, Carol Ferris could also fire energy blasts that could be used to attack enemies or destroy obstacles. These energy blasts were mighty and could cause significant damage to their targets. Being a member of one of the 10 Lantern Corps, the Star Sapphire could create energy constructs. These constructs were made using the energy the gemstone contained and could take the form of various objects, such as weapons, shields, or entire structures, similar to the power of the other members of the Lantern Corps on the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. The Star Sapphire gem could also allow its wearer to face abilities through solid objects, which made them incredibly difficult to capture or defeat. Sounds like Kitty from X-Men. Maybe she was a member of the Star Corps too. As other Lantern Corps member rings, the Star Sapphire gem granted its user the ability to fly, which allowed them to move through the air at incredible speeds. This ability was helpful for evading attacks or traveling long distances quickly. Don't we all wish to have a similar power? Commuting to the office could have never been easier. The healing factor that could heal wounds was such a cheat skill. This ability could be instrumental in combat situations. When recovering from such injuries could decide your victory in a battle. The Star Sapphire also had the power to make herself invisible or refract light, making her a tricky opponent to detect or see. This ability could be used to evade detection or sneak past enemies. The Star Sapphire could create wormholes, which were portals that allowed its wearer to travel through space or across dimensions. The Star Sapphire had a limited regeneration ability that could be used to repair or regenerate damaged tissues. The gemstone could perform electromagnetic scanning, which meant that it could detect and analyze various forms of energy. The Star Sapphire could also translate all languages in real time, which meant its wearer could communicate with anyone, regardless of their native language. This makes it a handy tool for when we go traveling next. The Star Sapphire granted its wearer immunity to rage and avarice, which meant that they were protected from the adverse effects of these emotions. So technically, that meant Atrocitus and Larfleeze would have a tough time against the Queen of Zemerons. The gemstone also gave its wearer true love sight and attunement, which meant that they could perceive the true nature of love and its associated emotions. Marvelous story arcs for Carol Ferris. Carol Ferris as the Star Sapphire gave the comic book fans plenty of memorable experiences. Her story arcs in the comics were thrilling to read, so let us take a look at a few of the marvelous story arcs of Carol Ferris. The amazing Star Sapphire. Imagine this. One fine morning, a group of aliens decides to make you their ruler. Similar to the ancient race of female warriors in ancient Greece, the Amazons, the Zemerons were an immortal race of aliens who harnessed the purple light that represented love on the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. These eternal beings chose Carol Ferris to be their queen. Carol Ferris declined their invitation as she did not want to leave Earth. I mean, who would want to leave their love and go off to rule another planet, right? The Zemerons realized that Carol Ferris did not want to leave Earth because she loved the Green Lantern, who was Hal Jordan. So they brainwashed her into believing that the Green Lantern was her enemy and that he had to be destroyed. Poor Carol suffered a resounding defeat at the hands of Green Lantern, which made the Zemerons deem her unworthy of her title as Star Sapphire. They used the same technology to brainwash her, which removed Carol Ferris' memories of being the Star Sapphire. But they left behind the Star Sapphire gem and a subconscious imprint of her powers. The gem was left in the museum at Metropolis, where Lois Lane got her hands on it. This incident triggered something in Carol Ferris' mind, who made her way to Metropolis. She retrieved the Star Sapphire gem and regained her former powers. Then came the years of battles with Green Lantern, who defeated her to revert Carol Ferris to her original persona. The Green Lantern tried to make Carol Ferris remember her alternate personality residing deep within her, but the twisted persona always used Zemeron's technology to wipe Carol Ferris' memories. Predator, the entity of love. Carol Ferris always had feelings for Hal Jordan, but when she did not receive the love and care she needed the most, she moved on to find what she was looking for in a man like the Predator. Little did she know that the Predator was a third persona living in her subconscious mind that took up residence after she was cured of the twisted and evil Star Sapphire personality that tormented her for years. The Predator served as a guardian angel for Carol Ferris. He protected the beloved company of Carol Ferris, the Ferris aircraft, from the interests of enemies who wanted to harm it. He helped her regain her rightful position as the heir of the company too. It was after this that the Predator decided to pursue Carol Ferris. I mean, what could go wrong? There's just someone named Predator trying to win your heart. So we end up with a battle between Predator and Hal Jordan for the heart of Carol Ferris. It reminds me of the ancient stories where the warriors had to fight for the fair maiden's hand in marriage. As expected, our Emerald hero was victorious and witnessed the merging of the Predator along with Carol Ferris. This marked the advent of an eviler Star Sapphire who took her rightful place as the queen of the Zemerons. Unlucky for the Star Sapphire, the Zemerons decided it was time to team up with their old friends, the Guardians of the Universe, to breed the next generation of immortals. So, left without a kingdom or subjects to rule, the furious queen decided to focus her efforts on getting revenge on the Green Lantern by teaming up with Hector Hammond. After years of work by Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Carol Ferris' evil personality still hid within her, despite their best efforts. The Predator, still dormant within Carol Ferris, awakened due to Eclipso's possession of Carol, revealing itself as a demonic parasite from Maltus. The Predator was subsequently shown to be the Star Sapphire Corps' avatar and the entity of love. Carol Ferris and Hal Jordan reunited during the Final Night Crisis, in which multiple heroes died and Superman even lost his powers. Hal Jordan, whom Parallax possessed, returned to Earth to perform an act that could redeem him. He wanted to sacrifice his life to reignite the sun that was left dead by the Sun Eater. He was not confident whether he would succeed in the act and was confronted by Carol Ferris. She encouraged him, and Hal Jordan redeemed himself. Carol Ferris attended Hal Jordan's funeral and left after delivering a few heart-touching words. Hal Jordan was reborn after defeating Parallax, the entity of fear, with the help of the Spectre. The mysterious Star Sapphires. The Star Sapphire once again possessed Carol Ferris before realizing that Cowgirl, who was also known as Jillian Perlman, would be a better host. The Star Sapphire detected that Hal Jordan had feelings for the United States Air Force pilot, so the gem possessed the poor girl. Carol Ferris gleaned secrets about the Star Sapphire and how the gem was a conduit for the emotional energy of love on the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. Thankfully, Carol could remove the Star Sapphire from Cowgirl's body, which our beloved green-clad hero tricked into latching onto one of the Zemurons. Carol Ferris quickly fled the scene to avoid an awkward confrontation with Hal Jordan, but a distressed Hal Jordan sought out Carol Ferris within a few days when he learned about Sinestro's execution. Carol Ferris deduced that Hal Jordan needed closure after all the betrayal he faced at the hands of his once beloved mentor and comrade. She reminded him that Sinestro's actions got him possessed by Parallax. The Blackest Night, the prophecy that came true. A team roster that could give Marvel's Avengers a run for their money. The Blackest Night saw the birth of the New Guardians, which consisted of representatives from the different Lantern Corps of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. The team-up was deemed necessary to defeat Necron, the entity of death, and the Black Lantern Corps he led. Carol Ferris was on her way to find Hal Jordan after being unable to reach him. As she was piloting her aircraft, a Star Sapphire ring broke into the cockpit, which took her to Zemron. She was initiated into the Star Sapphire Corps to lead them into battle during the Blackest Night. She was hesitant to accept the ring, but upon learning that Hal Jordan was fated to die during the Blackest Night, she took on the responsibility. She teamed up with Hal Jordan, Sinestro, and Indigo One, but they soon realized that they could not defeat the Lord of the Unliving. Hal Jordan decided that their only shot would be him hosting Parallax again to defeat the entity of death. Carol Ferris expressed her disapproval, but Hal Jordan was adamant. They defeated Necron with the help of the entity of life, the polar opposite of Necron. The brightest day that follows the Blackest Night. After the incidents of the Blackest Night, Carol Ferris and Hal Jordan's talk about their future was interrupted by Sinestro, who came to collect them for their visit to the entity. Carol was sent on a mission to Las Vegas to find the Predator, who had taken control of a man obsessed with a young woman and having the time of his life. Carol realized that the only way to release the man from the entity's grip was to show him love and affection. So, she kissed him. Her plan worked and the man was freed from the Predator's influence. Carol Ferris and Hal Jordan were taken to Zemron, where they meet the Queen. The Queen sacrificed her life force to sustain the central power battery and announced that Carol would be her successor as the new Queen of Zemron. A portal from Hawkworld to Zemron was created by Queen Kia. Carol and the Predator confronted them as she began an invasion of Zemron with her Menhawks. Carol fought Hawkman, Hawkgirl, and the Hawk family to a standstill while attempting to prevent the end of the world. Hawkgirl and Hawkman intervened to save her. She explained to Hawkman that it was because of their intense love, which was better than anything she and Hal Jordan could ever share. Carol then showed up and informed Hal and the others of what transpired in Hawkworld. War of the Green Lanterns, Corona's meddling. So Jeff Johns' storyline was a part of the events after the Blackest Night and during the Brightest Day arcs. The main characters in this storyline were a group of human Green Lanterns, including Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, John Stewart, and Kyle Rayner, as well as an alien Green Lantern named Kilowog, who was the drill sergeant of the Green Lantern Corps and a guardian of the universe named Ganthet. Together, they confronted their fellow brainwashed Green Lanterns and prevented a rogue guardian Corona from taking over the entire universe. During this strife among the Green Lantern Corps, the new Guardians, including Carol Ferris, made their way to the planet Ryut to confront Corona. But when they arrived, Corona was nowhere to be seen, and a trap was laid out for them. A former member of the Sinestro Corps, Lysa Drac, arrived and trapped all of the new Guardians, except Hal Jordan in the Book of Black. Hal Jordan kept the rings of the new Guardians, and he used Carol Ferris's ring to crack the central power battery and free Parallax. Seriously, what was this dude's obsession with Parallax? Anyway, the new Guardians were also freed by this act. After the defeat of Corona, Hal Jordan returned to Earth along with Carol Ferris. Carol Ferris appearances in other media. Carol Ferris debuted on the big screen early and is one of the most popular television and movie characters. The most popular and arguably disastrous appearance was in the 2011 live-action movie of Green Lantern. The movie starred Ryan Reynolds, where Blake Lively portrayed Carol Ferris as the daughter of the wealthy owner of the Ferris aircraft. However, the movie did not portray her persona as the Star Sapphire. Another film that showed Carol Ferris was Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls, Mayhem in the Multiverse. But in that movie, she was portrayed as Star Sapphire, a member of the Legion of Doom. Other films that feature Carol Ferris include Justice League, The New Frontier, Green Lantern, First Flight, and Justice League Doom. Numerous television shows also feature Carol Ferris, such as Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Green Lantern, the animated series, Young Justice, Justice League Action, and DC Superhero Girls. Other characters who also become Star Sapphire. The Star Sapphire was a title held by the Queen of the Zemrons. The Zemrons' method of choosing a queen was quite eccentric. Free will and the word no did not seem to be a part of their dictionary. Therefore, other than their forceful possession of Carol Ferris, the Zemrons had other characters take up the mantle too. So let us take a look at some of the other Star Sapphires. Stella Farron, the third woman to be seen handed the title of Queen of the Zemrons. Stella Farron began to be highly dissatisfied by the comments of a few Zemrons who claimed that Carol Ferris would have been a better queen compared to her. She traveled to Earth to duel Carol Ferris, who lived in peace with the Star Sapphire persona lying dormant in her. The attack by Stella Farron forced the dormant Star Sapphire to wake up and fight the invading Stella Farron. Sensing the disturbance, the Emerald Hero came to take a look, where the Zemrons explained the situation to him. It appeared that Carol Ferris became the victor of the duel and challenged Hal Jordan to a battle, who was defeated and taken to Zamron to be the husband of the Star Sapphire. Hal Jordan realized that the Carol Ferris he was with was in reality a disguised Stella Farron, and the real Carol Ferris was forced to live Stella Farron's life on her home planet of Xanador. He quickly rescued Carol Ferris and defeated Stella Farron before departing for Earth. Stella Farron appeared later in the series when she fell in love with another Green Lantern from the planet of Xanador, but she murdered him after becoming his wife. She then encased herself with him on their planet in a purple crystal so that they could be together forever. Last we checked, she was still encased in crystal. Talk about how love drives you mad. Deborah Camille Darnell, aka Ramoni Notra, the second woman to be chosen by the Zamorans to be their queen after Carol Ferris rejected them. Ramoni Notra hailed from the planet of Pendina. She wanted all 5 of the Star Sapphire gems for herself. She used her powers to arrive on Earth and started working as an air hostess for Carol Ferris' company, Ferris Aircraft. She took the name of Deborah Darnell to hide her real identity and get close to Carol Ferris to steal her Star Sapphire gem. In hopes of obtaining clues on the whereabouts of the Star Sapphire gem, Deborah Darnell joined the secret society of supervillains, which was not so secret anymore. Her whereabouts were unknown until it was revealed that she was subjected to a memory wipe and was in a coma. It is highly suspected that this was done at the behest of Hal Jordan to keep Carol Ferris safe. She was eventually rescued by her teammates from the secret society of supervillains. They were seen battling the Justice League of America after that. During the Day of Vengeance arc, several magic users, including Ramoni Notra, assembled at the Stonehenge and summoned the Spectre, who turned Ramoni Notra into a Star Sapphire gem and shattered her. Jillian Perlman, the sharp-witted United States Air Force pilot whose call sign was Cowgirl. The young girl who grew up in Texas chasing fighter jets in the sky was rescued by the Green Lantern Hal Jordan. The two met back at the airbase and started a flirtatious relationship. Cowgirl was attacked by the Star Sapphire that possessed Carol Ferris until it realized that Hal Jordan had feelings for her and switched hosts. Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris had to combine forces to defeat the Star Sapphire that possessed Cowgirl when the Zemrons arrived, claiming they would be the first 2 members of their new Star Sapphire Corps. The Stone offered to let go of one of the women Hal Jordan desired the most. In response, Hal Jordan kissed one of the Zemrons present, and the Stone latched onto her, thus once again saving the day. Nolange, the Braid clan, whose members refer to themselves as Braidmen, and the Outer clans were headed by the master criminal Prixium Nolange, also known as Prixium. The criminal group she led was one of the most successful, with a territory spanning several space sectors. Her crimes invited the attention of the Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern Goran's son, who was dispatched to arrest her. She was in prison on Oa for several years, during which time she seduced her jailer, Green Lantern Kazite. When Agent Orange, also known as Larfleeze, attacked Oa, he killed a Star Sapphire Corps member in the battle. The Star Sapphire searched for a replacement and chose Nolange because it sensed her love for her clan. Nolange convinced Kazite that the ring's appearance was a sign of her genuine love for him. Poor Kazite believed her and let the tiger out of its cage. Nolange put on the ring and killed Kazite. She escaped to her clan's base of operations, but was followed by Hal Jordan. Their fight ended with Hal Jordan escaping due to his ring's malfunctioning. Hal Jordan and Kilowog eventually defeated Nolange and her Braidmen, forcing Nolange to surrender her Star Sapphire ring. Star Sapphire appearances in other media. We can find the character of the Star Sapphire as a supporting character in Injustice 2. She also appears as a playable character in some of the games such as LEGO Batman 3, Beyond Gotham, Infinite Crisis, DC Unchained, DC Universe Online, and LEGO DC Supervillains. Star Sapphire has also appeared in other media platforms such as television series like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. However, the identity of Star Sapphire and her origins are never elaborated on in these appearances. Marvelous verdict. A character surrounded by controversy, the emotion-embracing lanterns of love wield the violet light in their belief in love and its loss. The Star Sapphire leaves readers in confusion with her differing ideologies and personalities, but the fact remains that the Star Sapphire is a part of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum and wields one of the most powerful emotions in the universe, the emotion of love. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.